All right. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh, Trying to check my audio. Checking audio. Audio checker. If you're out there in YouTube land, please say audio is good. Delete that. Let's delete that. All right. So, do I have audio? All right. So I think I do. I think I do. All right. So while I get the last couple of things set up, wanted to show people what the conversation is going to be talking about this evening, just in case, you haven't been caught all up to what's going on in the tech world. So we got Qualcomm on deck. Depending on how long it goes, I'm waiting for No Radio to get here because he's been test driving the new Qualcomm. So I wanted to talk about that. And then framework and their collaboration, which I think is going to be driving the laptop market crazy. Let's see. Um, US Mobile doing some innovating abilities. YouTube is pissing everybody off that wants free 99, which is very interesting to see their approach. They let go of their VPNs and now they're going after people with VPNs. Pornhub is in the news. TV is in the news for technology. All right, so I wanted to wait until No Radio got here before I start with the Qualcomm news because he has the information that I need to be able to make some predictions. And so right now, I'm going to probably start with something else until he jumps in here. If he doesn't jump in, then I'm gonna end up going back to the Qualcomm set. But it the information that he's been gleaming has been very interesting, and I wanted to share it with everyone. Come on, put that there and there. Okay, so what are we gonna start with first? We are going to start with US Mobile first. So if nobody knows who US Mobile is a MVNO. that operates in the United States, and they've been chugging along. They don't have as many users as a lot of popular MVNOs like Cricket or Track Phone, but they're trying to innovate on a problem that we all suffer from, but only a rare few people can solve, depending on how much money you're trying to throw at the problem. So this is on lightreading.com. Make this a little bit the people in the back. All right, so US Mobile succeeds where, oh no, too big, too big. Come on. US Mobile failed, succeed where Google Fi failed. So Google Fi, being another MVNO that Google operates, their claim to fame, especially when they first came onto the scene, was they were going to take the cell companies, which was Sprint at the time and T-Mobile, and also US Cellular, which, don't you find it's kind of funny that they're all coming together? They were going to take all those and put them together. So when you traveled to, let's say, the Eastern North Carolina, where I'm from, T-Mobile didn't have any service. Sprint service was very lacking, but then you had US Cellular. Your phone would just dynamically switch on the fly. Um, it would see the network, say, "Oh, well, you know what? Our signal to noise ratio for T-Mobile is bad. Let's switch over to, um, you know, US Cellular." And then whoever had the better signal is what it latched onto. Even Google, a couple of developers made these apps. So if you had a Google Fi account, it would switch. Like you could hard switch it yourself, which was very cool. You know, you could get a good idea about what networks does what in what area that you're in. And here in DC, I always thought that T-Mobile wasn't that good until I ended up getting Google Fi. And Google Fi partnered with T-Mobile and Sprint. And at the time, I was like, well, you know what, Sprint's going to be more popular. Let me go ahead and just ride out. So I switch it over to the Sprint, and then I come back and look at the settings again. It defaults back to T-Mobile, and for the most part, I was like, oh, something's wrong. But apparently, I was wrong because T-Mobile was better than Sprint in the area I was in, and Google Fi would default directly to whatever was better. So as an Uber driver, I'm driving around and I'm getting superb service, way better than what I expected to get. And so fast forward to now, US Mobile is technically doing the same exact thing that Google Fi was doing. They but Google Fi was using the lower lesser carriers at the time, where US Mobile is going to be going directly after the big three. So one of the biggest problems about cell phone technology is that your cell phone carrier choice benefits or lacks in certain areas. Depending on where you are, you can be in the Bayou Swamp or you can be in, New York City. Depending on how much coverage they decide to want to put on air, that's what you are, pretty much stuck with. So people, buy their service according to what's more beneficial to their needs 95% of the time. The other 5% is when you travel and depending on where you travel on a regular basis. So take me for example, I travel up and down the eastern seaboard, and eastern North Carolina is where I'm from. And the problem is T-Mobile was great in the city, but when I hit Eastern North Carolina, there's no service. And it would be kind of a deal breaker if I didn't have Google Fi, because then it will switch over to Sprint or US Cellular. Now, US Mobile is taking that same idea and going balls deep with it. So now what they're planning on doing is basically, like I said, they're partnering with the three major carriers. You got AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile all operating on this. Now, I read different articles talking about this subject, and I'm gonna look more into it, and I'll probably get back to everybody about it. But light reading is basically saying that you will be able to switch your carrier choice. Like if you want your US Mobile to ride on AT&T, to ride on Verizon, to ride on T-Mobile. Other articles have said that talk about the same subject, was talking about that you only allow a certain number of switches per quarter or per month. So it's not going to be kind of like how how Google Fi was, from what I've understood about some of the reading and terminology of. But basically, you're looking at US Mobile letting you switch to, let's say that you're going to Florida, and AT&T is better in Florida in certain parts. Well, if you're going to a certain part of Florida and you know AT&T works there well, and you are normally riding on T-Mobile on US Mobile, you can go, hey, I want to switch to AT&T, and it'll let you switch, you know, mid network, whatever. And you only got a number of different times you can switch and switch back. So I think they give you up to like two, and then you have to pay to switch back again if you want to keep switching back and forth. So that's a very interesting twist on a very, very complicated problem. Um, One of the reasons why they probably don't do this as a very old machine is, I think that AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, their back networks are not allowed to share. So the reason why we don't have like a unifying, all-encompassing network is, number one, these companies would never share connections with anybody. On number two, I think that different tower agreements prevent them from sharing also. Uh Somebody probably in the comments is gonna correct me. That's what I've understood. I think that one of the reasons why Google Fi stuck to T-Mobile, Sprint, and US Cellular is those contracts were probably very, very weak, and they found a way around it, technical and, paper wise. But now you're dealing with the three major carriers, and you know that Verizon is not going to want you to play around with AT&T while using their network to bolster somebody else's network. That's not going to happen. And they kind of want you to utilize their network. Period. They're building out their networks. That's what they kind of want to do. So here they're calling it the super carrier mode. We're launching a super carrier mode teleportal, entirely user base combined, and that's what they're doing. They're combining all the U.S. networks all together. Let's see. Does it say it in this article? Okay, so here we go. So on the website, US Mobile said customers will get their first two network transfers for free. So that's, like I said, you traveling, you're off to the races. Realize the service sucks where you are. You can pick one and choose whoever you want to flop to, right? At no extra cost. And then when you get ready to come back home, boom, you go back to your original carrier that you prefer. Um, the what is it? The company's unlimited premium plan offers up to 8 transfers a month at no extra cost. So they're making this as a offer on their website as part of their plans. So depending on let's say a truck driver or somebody who travels a lot, maybe gets up to 8 transfers a month. You don't have to drive around with 3 and 4 and 5 phones. This US Mobile is killing 2 birds, 3 birds with one stone. Yes, we can go with that. 3 birds with one stone. You got one cellular plan. Maybe you don't do a lot of calling, but you need people to make sure that they get up, can get up with you. And this might be pretty good for that last 10-15% of people. Me personally, I think that US Mobile might end up getting bought because this is way too innovative, and somebody's gonna want to have this on their team. I'll maybe a Dish network might need to get a hold of this. Dish / EchoStar. Then they can have access to all 3 carriers, and it won't matter. But hold on, where's my mouse? There it is. So like right here, it says Google Google Fi launched in 2015, and it seamlessly moved customers between Sprint and T-Mobile networks. And then US Cellular was added a year later. Now Google Fi only operates solely on T-Mobile because Sprint had merged with T-Mobile, and they dropped service for US Cellular. And now T-Mobile is trying to gobble US Cellular up too. But the technology that they're using to do this, US Mobile has been touting their teleportal technology for months now, and they're pretty much taking advantage of the eSIM standard. Now, the eSIM standard, a lot of phones now should have come with it. I know iPhones started off first. My folds have eSIM, and I switch between Verizon and T-Mobile on one phone, and T-Mobile and AT&T on another. So I flop back and forth on different phones, but I do have like 5 lines on T-Mobile. So with that ability to be able to switch back and forth, basically what they're doing is the secondary SIM still is active, it's just not as active. It's kind of able to see the network, and then whenever, from what I've understood about how it works, it's doing a combination of network sensing in the background. It's getting the information's already there, and what it does is probably doing it on the fly on its own. It's built into its own profile to be able to switch when it sees like usage slash availability. So depending on how much usage you need to do, it'll just switch on the fly. Um, so like I said, relying on the dual SIM, dual standby technology that is already built into phones. Now the only problem is how is it going to do for 3 cell carriers? Because it's only dual is only 2. That's probably going to be something I have to test. I'm curious to see. This might be a good stopgap measure for somebody who wants to travel a lot, but they don't want to have 3 cell carriers. And you get access to 3 cell carriers, but you don't want to be paying for 3 cell carriers. Believe me, it gets kind of expensive. I'm doing it right now. I have Verizon I pay for individually. I have T-Mobile that I pay for individually, and I have AT&T that I pay for individually. So it gets kind of pricey. The pricey gets up there. So let's see here. Now US Mobile is starting to gain a little bit more of a foothold. Um, Not many people are on the service, but they are still moving up. It says it launched in 2015. It launched right behind Google Fi. Look at that. It now counts more than 500,000 customers. So it's small, but yet trying to move. So this might end up giving them a leg up over their MVNO competitions. Go to Light Reading. Go to their website, and if you're curious about it, leaving a comment below if you're thinking about doing some network testing on this new service. I'm curious to see what how it's gonna pan out myself. All right, I'm gonna do the framework first, and that's gonna lead into the Qualcomm. So anyone that is a super nerd, yes, I gotta say it like that. You gotta be a super nerd to like what I like. I I kind of grew up on the DIY side. I don't do much DIYing anymore because it gets kind of expensive. And then on top of that, support for a lot of stuff is not there anymore. So it makes it a lot more difficult to kind of, you know, want to sink your fangs into something new that's not going to be there, but for only a season. But the company framework with all the ARM chips running around, framework is jumping into the ARM game also. Let's see. So framework is jumping into embracing the RISC-V new main board option. So just to catch everybody up, if you don't know what Framework is a company that basically is trying to standardize the whole laptop game. If you look at your laptops, you have a screen, you got a main board, you got I/O, you got a couple of ports, some speakers, RAM, memory, hard drive, and that's it. For the most part, connectability. And you go and buy another laptop. For the most part, you probably, if you type a lot, you're going to be the person goes, hey, I like that keyboard. Oh, I like this. Or I like that. Some people choose ones that have number pads. Some people choose just straight keyboards, and they're perfectly happy with doing, you know, function keys to get to numbers. But framework gives you that ability to kind of pick and choose what you'd like to do within the same confines of what you're already doing. So they got the framework 13 and the framework 16. The 16 is bigger. It gives you the option to do like a numpad or a regular straight keyboard. That's different people's preferences. But one of the things that I like about the company, and it got endorsed by uh was it Linus? And I think Linus is an investor into the company too. But one of the beauties about it is basically when you want to upgrade, you just rip out the heart and put another one in. Now for me, that's like me going back to when I started building PCs. That triggers a nice little happy spot for me anyway. And being able to do that, it gives you more options. I'm not necessarily saying it needs be the most powerful options, but it gives you more options to be able to play around with. So like when I upgraded my PC and I had some spare parts, I would build another PC to augment maybe another set of computers that I had something else going on. I would download on one and you know do some video streaming on another, or had LimeWire up at the time running two downloads simultaneously. So it all came down to what it was your personal preference. But to be able to have spare parts around to build another PC from all the different spare parts you already had was a great thing. You had options. With Framework, it's kind of bringing that nostalgia back. And now that which I would like to say we are in the ARM era. Everything is probably going to be moving to ARM with all these new benchmarks. And one of the first companies that's kind of embracing the ARM future is Framework. So the ability to just swap out main boards is pretty big. Now, this company is since they have a more open standard, you can develop, any company can develop for them, and if you want to have access to a whole bunch of people, then you can put it on their marketplace, which is very good. I recommend people to kind of give it a look. If you're that super DIY and you like to play around with stuff, Framework laptops. I haven't been able to get into it just yet, but I know that there's more information coming next week about the new processor for RISC-V being introduced to Framework, and then I think they're probably going to be primarily on Ubuntu and some other. Let's see, where did I see that at? Where did I see it? Bringing something different to the table. So basically, come on, from this photo, you getting where like you could put it in the number pad, you put in the keyboard, you can replace the main board, upgrade the battery, change the mouse pad. The RISC-V Summit is next week and it's going to be held in Europe. And the company behind this that's partnering with them is called Deep Computing. And let me see if I can pull them up. Let's pull them up. Come here. Come hither. Did I get it? Uh-oh. Let's see. So Deep Computing is working with Framework, and they're making a main board for the company. Well, I thought I hit the wrong button. Woo! And so they're building a main board for Frank. Hey, no radio.
So
What's going on, sir?
nothing much, sir. Nothing much.
Hey, my favorite company is working with ARM, man.
Of course they are.
Why you say it like that?
You know why I say that like that.
So here, just doing a quick recap before I wanted to get your opinion about some stuff. So the company called Deep Computing is building a main board for the company Framework, and they're gonna be showing it off at the RISC-V Summit next week. And this board is gonna fit inside the Framework Laptop 13. So I'm just saying on radio, hey, this is something I was thinking about to be able to, especially with all the ARM news that we've been getting.
I feel you. So when's framework gonna be getting some OLED screens? And I'm just saying. What,
They
what's
they
the, what, is,
they're
what are
gonna
they
be
gonna
getting
bring
them
to?
OLED soon.
But they want to
You
get
know,
in.
they when they come down in price.
Okay, so when the little piggies get the wings, I
Hey
got you.
man, look, I told you y'all make fun of me about it, but this is like my DIY, dream for real. I mean, I I always like to be able to build stuff, and
Yeah,
this kind of
same.
just falls right into that premise for me.
Yeah, okay.
But go to deep computing. This was deepcomputing.io if you want to know more information. I think that they're primarily only working with like who's let's see, I thought I saw it in here. Oh, here it is.
Ooh, I haven't seen one of those in a
Ubuntu
long time. SVT Lightning.
SVT Lightning.
Yeah, it's the original Ford Lightning. It's
Ooh.
the supercharged Ford F-150.
Oh, that's right. You're out and about.
Yeah, I'm at work, brother.
Well, look, since you're at work, and I wanted to get your opinion about this real quick because I held it off. I was waiting for you to jump in, man. I'm gonna show this one because I like to start with the controversy first. So let's go ahead and get it. Now you have access to a new Qualcomm laptop.
Yes, sir.
Me and you have watched some of the reviews. Um, got we've spoken our opinions about it. We're gonna share it with the people, but some publications are not very thrilled here, and I want to go ahead and say what the publications have to say before we hear from somebody who has it hands on. So here in this article, they're talking about the performance is not quite what they promised. They're basing their review based off of the Asus Vivo S15 OLED.
Okay.
Um,
That's the only model being used.
that's what they're basing their
Well,
marks off of is that one.
therein lies your problem.
Well, no radio, let it ride for a second. Let it ride. Well, hey, look, we already know that there's more in depth to this, right? We know this, but maybe some people don't, and they come across an article like this and they hear that maybe Qualcomm was, embellishing their numbers, or that they might have been not up to snuff just yet. So here they're saying like, let's see, Qualcomm isn't delivering on the claims of performance, or other manufacturers might deliver better performance. They're talking about the battery life of the Vivo using a 70 watt hour battery pack. He said that the the battery life possibly is as good as Intel and AMD notebooks. Let's see, on average, it delivers about 40% better battery life than the MacBook Air M3.
And you better point out that the MacBook Air has a bigger battery.
That's true.
If I'm not mistaken. It's getting better battery life in a smaller battery.
They're kind of downplaying, like, web browsing and watching movies aren't really too taxing. Under heavier loads, the battery life drops off the cliff under a Snapdragon Elite processor. Now, they kind of go into the nerd side, comparing it to like the Intel Core Ultra 7 base notebooks. Let's see. I want to get all the information out. Oh, here's the benchmarks. their benchmarks. PC Mark 10. Let's see. I'm going to take it that lower is better. So it's not showing very well it being here at the bottom of the pack.
Let's go back to that. Sorry, I couldn't see it.
Oh, go back.
Yeah, we're just flying through. Higher is better, sir. It says at the top
High.
there. Look
Oh,
at that.
at the top of the pack.
Yeah, you see it says higher is better, and Snapdragons are beating everything.
Okay.
The only thing that is not beating is a laptop that has a R9 5950X installed in it. Uh-huh.
Now,
Dog.
now is kind of what they call misleading here.
Well, if you look, so for one, the Asus doesn't use either of the actual 80 or 84 SKUs, which is turbo.
Right.
The 84 SKU also has better graphics. They're using the lowest elite chip in the
Which is
Asus
what?
model.
It's a 70.
That is why, if you look at that chart, you see there it shows config A and config B. And you
Yeah.
see, look how much better the config B performs.
I see it.
That's gonna be your 84 chip, and then the config A is gonna be pretty
That the
sure it's gonna
Vivo.
be 80 chip. The 80 chip. Well, it's not. That's what I'm saying. The model laptop is irrelevant. We just know. We just happen to know that Asus doesn't use the higher
Right.
SKUs. That's why we can point that out. Asus doesn't have a model with the higher SKU. Yeah. So
Now, here's the
continue on.
thing. Qualcomm, in its infinite knowledge, has decided to make this the most confusing thing on the
Yeah,
planet.
exactly. That's where they went wrong.
Unnecessarily confused.
That lies where they went wrong.
Now, you got reviewers doing reviews on some of these. Some people are using Lenovo's Yogas. Some people are using Samsung. Some people are actually using the Windows Surface for some of these comparisons.
And what I'm
But
seeing is Max Tech is the only one I've seen so far that has really put his hands on like a lot of models
right.
and a lot of SKUs.
I'm gonna have to go back and look at the new video he probably already done.
Yep, and he is a notorious Apple guy, and even he says that this is a success for Qualcomm.
Ooh.
So
let's see, what was his other benchmark that popped up here?
so any viewers that don't know, I already own a model.
Yep. So No Radio is a proud owner of a model, a Snapdragon model. And I wanted I wanted to ask you some questions. I was trying to look. I wanted to pluck your brain when you told me you picked it up, but look. You got to do it for the content, man. You got to do it for the content. So share with the people which model and what SKU did you pick
So I
up?
ended up getting the Samsung Galaxy. Was it Samsung Galaxy? The 80 SKU. So one step down from the highest SKU.
Right.
And they'll keep it short and sweet. As long as you're not gaming, there isn't a faster laptop out there.
Ooh. So Windows just had its Apple moment when they switched off of x86.
Yeah, as long as you're not gaming, I don't see a faster laptop. And you certainly can't even get close to this in the battery life in a laptop that's remotely close to as fast as this device.
Ooh. So let me ask you this question. in price comparison, is it worth the price as it is right now?
If you need portability and battery life, absolutely.
Uh, okay.
Am I happy with how the cards are falling? No. Um, these, as you already know, Keon, these companies are forcing you into corners. They're doing the actual price difference between them is probably $100 for each jump, but they're
Right.
forcing you into $200 and $300 jumps by forcing higher like storage
Yeah.
on
The
models through all the manufacturers. So when you might be happy with 512, but you want the highest SKU, and instead of paying 100 more, you end up paying 300 more because they force you with a terabit
right.
SSD. They're doing small things like this. As well as like in the Samsung category, they're removing ports between the sizes of the screens, but they're not calling them like a how Apple uh, Samsung
Right.
is basically telling you they're both the same model, but this is 14 inches.
See.
Really
Oh,
look
no, no, no.
close. You'll keep finding yourself backed into a corner over and over every time. Okay, I'm gonna get this one. Oh dang it! What? Why did play? No, they're
Well,
playing games.
one of the biggest problems about Windows, the Windows side choices, right? Even though Apple has expanded their offerings a little more, it's still way more simpler on the Apple side than it is on the Windows side. So if you wanted the Pro model, you knew you're getting, hey, I'm getting a pro level device. So I'm getting the one with the ports, I'm getting the one with this, I'm getting the ones with that. That's the Pro. The
Uh,
is very slim and in different things like that, but it still has the same processor. It might have different
cooling
SKUs,
solution.
SKU like God, it is as confusing as all outdoors. And on top of that, you even notice that they don't even really show which SKU it is.
Well, I'll say this: historically, the PC market it obviously have a lot of options, but they don't usually put you in corners. For
Right.
example, uh, at least in my case, I've been buying. I've had a laptop I bought brand new. I've been brand new out of the store,
Yeah.
and I've never been in a situation where the higher processor was a $400 jump.
Yeah.
Never. I've never seen that to go up a level. So if you were buying, the I don't know the second in line laptop, and you jump to the higher tier, they both would have the same storage. I think what Qualcomm and the manufacturers are doing, they're actually copying Apple. They're just doing it even
Oh
messier
yeah.
than
Oh
Apple,
no, no.
because Apple does the same thing with their models and their phones. You might want you might just want a bigger screen, but
Very
the
true.
bigger screen is also a
Yeah,
freaking
no, no,
512
and
model.
that like I said, that's something that I
And
have always wondered what was going to end up happening.
so we got
Is
there.
the Qualcomm is going to just pump out the chips, right? And they're probably not going to be as expensive, but they should be just enough difference in them that they were going to start doing a lot more add-ons. Like, hey, instead of getting up to, and then a bigger screen bumps the price up also, but they're not going to do a lot of extra mixing and matching.
How you doing, boss? How you doing, bud?
Just wondering, does this have to do with the power at all, or?
Is the power out down here? That's what I thought. Yeah, all we see is the modems are off. So for us, it looks like our internet's out, but you just told me my answer.
Yeah, no, there was a power outage down there.
Okay.
Branch fell on the thing. We're still trying to figure out, like, all these places came, but
Give me a
right
second.
past that is my house, and you
Want
see
to
it's dark
no
as
radio real quick.
Okay.
So there's like down the hill, there's like a handful of houses still without power.
Okay, is there any down lines? At least the trees came.
No, they cut the tree off of it. It just overloaded, like it
Oh, there it
popped,
is.
popped,
Oh,
popped.
yeah.
So it overloaded the breakers.
mute no radio real quick. Haven't had to do that in a while. But yeah. So one of the bigger things that me personally have noticed is the Qualcomm is just going to be playing inside to ask for. That's what they're going to serve up. Is hey, you want the 84 SKU, you want the 80 SKU, you want the 72 SKU, whatever SKU you want, they're going to just offer it. But the OEMs, the Dells, the Qualcomm, the Dells, the Lenovo's, the Asus, Acer, these companies are going to be more along the lines of, hey, how can we maximize this SKU, even though we might not be paying a lot for it, but how do we differentiate what we're offering? And that's kind of what I'm starting to see now, and from the conversation I had with the radio, and going onto the websites, and a lot of the websites aren't really as transparent as they need to be. You have to kind of read between the lines, especially right now, which is very sad to say. Like I shouldn't have to be like, oh, so where's the top one? Where's the best one? I want to see what the best one is. Oh no, we have different verbiage signifying the best one. Every company's gonna have different wordplay, which is a problem on Apple side, which is somebody who's not as much of an Apple fan. They do make it a lot simpler. It says Pro, you're getting something similar to Pro. You're not going to lose a whole bunch of ports because you went from this Pro version to that Pro version. You're going to get Pro, and you're going to get the ports that go along with it. You're probably going to get a certain, SKU set that's not going to drop below into a different realm, just so you can say, hey, I want a cheaper Pro. If you say you want Pro and you're going up, you go up. You don't go down. So these are the crazy things that you're starting to see on the PC side. And it's kind of sad that this is what is going to end up happening. I'm hoping that we can, solve this problem. A lot that fits for them, but I think that they purposely do this so you could pick the wrong one, or you overpick, trying to overcompensate. It's like, oh, I need the one with the most memory. Let me get the one with 32 gigs. But you're not going to get the 32 gigs without getting. You want the OLED screen? That's OLED with the 2 terabyte. You can't get the OLED without the 2 terabyte and the upgraded memory. These are the things that they kind of end up doing, and it's kind of, as a PC person, I wish it wasn't this way, but that's kind of what the name of the game is.
That is definitely the game they're playing. I would tell everybody, don't just go in a store and go, oh, this is the whatever elite, or to see what chip you're getting. All
Right.
elites are not created equal.
Now, did you ever get around to gaming on it
I
yet?
did. I ended up getting Grand Theft Auto 5 to install flawlessly.
Oh.
And it actually ran flawlessly as well.
Oh, wait. What when you say flawless, what do we mean by flawless, sir?
It was completely playable.
Ooh,
there was
hold on one second.
there was no hiccups in it getting installed. Like I'll put it like this. This one, when I go back to saying how fast the device is, it took on a 300 meg connection, I want to say it took me like 10 minutes and some change maybe to download, and that's because the site wasn't actually downloading at full speed.
Right.
It literally took, but after it downloaded, it took like 10, 15 seconds for it to install.
Wow.
So I mean, now with that being said, it's possible that maybe the Rockstar launcher was installing it as it downloaded, but I've installed that game on at least 5 PCs over the last handful
And
of
you've never
years,
seen it do
and I've
that.
never seen it go from download finish to up ready to play that quick. So now, with that being said, the Samsung Galaxy Book Edge, they come with an extremely high res display. They come with a 3K display. Okay, dude, the game did go and run horrendous. So I did end up dropping.
Oh no!
Which who? Well, I mean, that's what I mean. I'm just gonna tell you, I wouldn't do that with my 2080. I wouldn't run 3K. Not necessarily.
Well, I mean, here's the
Not
thing.
if I want full responsiveness and I want to have all settings high. So with that being said, can my 2080 do it? Absolutely. But once again, this is not a game.
Here they say that the Windows.
So 1440p.
So they said the Windows powered ARM devices are compatible with more than 1,200 games at 30 FPS or higher, and now supports BattleEye and I don't know the name of this company, Denvu. But basically, BattleEye and Denvu, I think, are like anti-cheat software. And with these 1,200 games, for the most part, and there's what they're saying is that you can game on them. They're not recommending you to do so just yet.
No.
And on top of that, there is still being emulated.
And I want guys to remember, those are based on the top SKU. The top SKU has the GPU is 4.7 teraflop, I want to say, compared to all the other elite SKUs 3.8. So when they tell you it runs all games at least 30, they're referring to the 84 SKU. So if you get told this game's going to run at least all these games 30 frames, but then you get the 78 SKU,
then they don't do it. Then you're going to be mad.
You're going to say, "Oh, they're lying. The Qualcomm isn't keeping what they're saying true."
No.
Yes, there you go. Therein lies the problem.
And that like I said, that's where the misinformation comes in at, because you thinking that whatever you grab off the shelf is what's going to work.
Now, even shows how certain things were not supported to be rendered by GPU, right? In some of the benchmarks, right?
Right.
But the Apple did support GPU, yet the processor did a better rendering than Apple's GPU. If you remember the benchmark where he says, it's not faster than Apple's GPU on the CPU of the
he was doing it was photo rendering on it was photo rendering through Adobe?
Yes.
And Adobe wasn't optimized for it. So it did it faster there on the Qualcomm trip than the Apple chip. It wasn't even optimized.
It was literally running an emulation. It was still faster than native Mac.
So that's another thing that a lot of people are not saying. Well, I think that he kind of did say it, but he didn't say it in a way that is understood. Like the benchmarks, when he was doing the benchmarks, he didn't really say it either. That's what I was looking for, and that's what you pointed out to me also, because I was a little bit on the fence because I didn't know which SKUs that they were testing, and then now when you start adding in which SKU are you testing on, is what your effects are going to end up being.
Yes. And I have to ask this too: what do you think margin of error we should give? So what I mean by that is, what is the percent that Snapdragon has to meet for you to say, they were honest? Is it 5? Is it 1%? Is it 5?
I say 15.
Is it 15?
15%. A 15% difference between scores, and one is not optimized and one is. I mean, that's good. It runs better, if not on par. I mean, that's that's like me racing against Usain Bolt. I mean, You make Usain Bolt running lead shoes, I could probably beat him. But that's what I'm saying is one is handicapped and the other one's not. What happens when you remove the handicap?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest difference. So like right here on this one, they're saying like what is considered running perfect. Hold on. Brandon wants to jump in. So like what running perfect, running at 60 plus FPS at 1080p, no glitch, no issues, gaming, no affecting to gaming experience. Playable is 30 FPS at 1080p. 30 is decent. I'm gonna want the higher frame rates. Runs is it just runs. Like you said, you ran it at you ran it at 3K. It ran, you just didn't want you wouldn't there.
No,
But even here, they're saying basically at 1080p, does it work? Is it good or not?
depends on the game, obviously. Grand Theft Auto 5 is clearly an older game than I ran.
Right. I mean, Grand Theft ran on the PS4.
Yeah, but remember, the PS4 is not the same as running Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PC.
That's true.
You didn't realize, so like the PS4 was running Grand Theft Auto 5 at like freaking like 7.
Oh no. I totally
and we're talking about like low settings and everything, So that's why we can't use it. A closer comparison would actually be the PS4 Pro when it comes to these GPUs. And why does that matter? Well, I think I've said this already to Keon before. If you look up the PS4 Pro, supposedly it's a 10 teraflop GPU capable, right? But if you notice, it doesn't perform the same as 10 teraflop GPUs. When you look up the actual benchmark, it does not perform the same. Why? Because the APU that it's on is not as fast as the chip we can buy on the market. So if you pair a 10 teraflop GPU with an i5, it's going to, 8 core. So the weakness in the PS4 wasn't even the graphics; it was just the CPU. So where this lands, it lands in a 10 teraflop world with if you have a crappy processor. If you had a crappy processor, as far as gaming.
But here's the thing: the processor is blazing off too. So you ran to some benchmarks last night. I don't know what time you went to bed, but hey, look, you ran some benchmarks and found now you're running the 80. You're running the 80 SKU or the Samsung.
The 80 SKU.
He's running the 80 SKU, and you found that the 80 SKU is on par with
the M2 Pro. If we're talking about the single core and the M2 Max in multi-core. Why is that significant? Both of those chips are faster than the regular M3.
Man.
So an M3 is literally, it's better than an M2, but not M2 Max. Right. So this chip is basically, it's really a kissing cousin with like an M2 Max.
Wow.
As far as performance goes on the processing side.
Now with your version, and this is something that like when we were talking about it early in the day before you got your hands on it, was the power settings, right? So Windows has a very weird power setting thing built in.
And Samsung is also putting their own on top.
Oh Jesus, no.
So Samsung has 3 different cooling modes on top of Windows Power Management.
Oh gosh.
So obviously the Windows Power Management is what we all know. Battery's going to be like battery saver, balanced, and high performance.
Right.
But then on top of that, Samsung has 3 different modes of how hard the fans will attempt to cool the device. Now, here's the problem I have with it, Samsung. I know how to change the power modes. My problem is I want to know if when I'm plugging it in, is it switching the power mode on its own? Because if it is, it's not giving a prompt. My Lenovo prompts me by changing it changes the color of the light on the power button to let me know that it has
They do the
switched
same thing
when
on
I plug it in.
they do the same thing on my my Legion.
Exactly.
The power button has like 3 different options. What it'll be green, white,
Yeah.
and red.
So if you got people benchmarking these and they're not changing 2 different sets of power settings, some of your benchmarks are going to be even worse than would be if you caught everything.
Right.
So that's why I say there's just too much going on with this. Qualcomm needs to clean this up. They need to see, at least Apple told you M2, no, M2 Pro, M2 Max. They gave you, or Ultra, whatever. They gave you like multiple steps. Qualcomm was like, it's elite. Don't worry about the details. It's elite. You gotta go dig through and find the fine print and see what SKU you got.
They could. I think they were doing everything they could not to try to directly copy them, but they needed to separate it too. Like
with the lowest elite SKU that doesn't turbo, and then complain about the processor scores on the benchmark. Because
which is totally
yeah.
And understand, like I said, somebody's gonna go out and go get the Surface Pro that's running like the 70 SKU, and they're gonna be like, I've been had. What are you? I've been bamboozled. And you don't realize, like, okay, so which SKU did you get? And that's sad when you end up getting that. So which engine did you get in the car? Well, I got the V6. Oh, sir, you should have got the V8.
Yeah.
You didn't get the V8.
Oh yeah, that's what happens whenever you get that money. Oh, I got a brand new Mustang. Oh man, what's up? Oh, this would be V6 though. You'd be like, oh man, sorry to hear that, brother.
Sorry, sir. You really messed up. But that's
brother.
The same problem that we're running into with these laptops. And on top of that, it was hard for you to find the 80 SKU.
Yeah, it took me 3 trips to Best Buy to really get to find out, because the employees are not aware either. They're not. Yeah, they're not aware.
So
either.
Also here,
the guy looked at me like a deer in the headlights when I said, "Which SKU was the processor in this one?" He's like, "Hey man,
he had no idea.
I haven't been trained on these, man. I honestly don't know nothing about them." Like, man, good luck for people who are not nerds like me.
He had no idea. Hey, look, and then on top of that,
you will pay more. That's the problem. You will end up paying the same price and getting a lower SKU if you're not careful.
Right.
Yeah. You'll be like,
just because you're integrated upgraded hard drive.
Or to be like this, you'll be wanting a 15-inch model, and you'll be, oh yeah, you'll see the two sitting next to them. One's a 14, one's a 16. You look at the little price sticker, and you're like, oh shoot, it's only $100 more, and they're both the elite. So you grab the 16, not realizing the 14, you got the 15, but the 14 is the one with the upgraded SKU. Like, you're paying more and you're lowering performance by making your screen bigger. Like, little stuff like that, is dangerous, man. So
that is,
know what you're buying, research your SKUs. And I would at the moment that ASUS cannot be touched, but I don't think you want to, because it only comes in the 70 whatever SKU. So I was so excited for the ASUS because of the ports, just like I just told you, like I've been talking all week. I was gonna blindly jump because of ports and find out I'll get all the ports, but I'm gonna have a downgraded experience. So be careful, folks.
Hey, look, the problem, like I said, this is the problem that we have when it comes to the PC side of the world, which I kind of wish we didn't have this, but too many choices is a bad problem, very bad problem. And on top of that, like not being clear enough in the description to be able to say, hey, look, these are the issues that you're going to run into, right? And that's kind of like, you tell somebody, hey, I got that Ferrari, but it comes to find out you got the base model. Nobody look. The only people that knows that you got the base model are the ones that are the nerds. They go, dog, you got the one with the green calibers on the brake pads. Like that's how we know it's the base model.
that's like if you look, that's like if you went to get a Rolls Royce, right? And you know on the Rolls Royce on the end of the hood they had the little thing with the ring. And whenever you turn it, when you hit a button, the thing goes in, it drops into the hood.
Yep.
That's like you getting a Rolls Royce and you find out yours don't drop in the hood.
Yours.
You're like, they're like, why my ghost go in the hood? What's going on here? Oh, you got the such and such model. Oh no! What's a Rolls Royce not a disappeared wing little guy? Like
that's the anti-theft feature. You got the one with
Royce, and then you want the stars, and you know how to have the stars in the
roof.
Yeah. But you get it, and your stars are thrown on. They don't actually light up.
you got the cut out version where they cut out the glow in the dark feature and put it stuck up there. Shame. But you know what? And then on top of that, you add insult to injury. So like I guess there's some of them that don't even run the anti-cheat software at all. You ran into the problem of not loading software on to your laptop. Did you get it fixed, or is it just not going to work
what
at all?
What it is that every time you install any piece of software on Windows, it has prerequisites built in, right? Some softwares don't care about prerequisites. So, for example, most games will let you install even though your machine ain't got dedicated graphics card, correct?
Right.
Well, certain software, one of mine being Propellerhead Reasons, it actually checks for what type of CPU is looking for an x86 or x64. If it doesn't see anything, it just halts the install. Other machines let the install go far enough that the emulation layer can kick in. And what you'll see, and here's the thing, I go back to how fast the machine is. I'm gonna tell you something funny, Miss Keon. I literally had to put the machine into a different power mode just so I could catch a certain screen showing up. That's how fast it's coming up and going away.
Slow it down.
Yeah, so this is what happens when you go to launch an executable on these chips.
Yeah,
there's a white box that pops up on the screen with like a purple W, and it says something emulation really fast. If you're in normal mode, it's like a flicker. It goes by so daggum fast, and that's all it is. It's the computer going, oh, that's x86. Emulate, and bam, it'll let you install it. It puts all the things in place for that thing to launch flawlessly from then on.
Right.
I had to actually drop the thing into Power Saver so the thing would stay on the screen for a millisecond longer, just so I could see what the crap it said.
Wow.
So and certain software is never getting to that point where the emulation can say, oh, you need emulation. Here you go. So the software is going, hey, where's the CPU? And it's giving up before the computer can even respond, basically, to let it install under the emulated version. It just says, oh, this is not a x86 or x64 machine. Sorry, you can't install.
Dang. So is there any fix for that for you, or are you going to have to wait for the operating, like the software?
I'm gonna have to wait.
Dang. Yeah. What other software were you able to get to run or not get to run on your?
I got Pro Tools. So Pro Tools installed. Which is Avid Pro Tools. Studio One installed by PreSonus. Ableton would not install because once again it was looking for the prereqs, and it's saying, "Oh, this machine is not Windows whatever x86." It immediately sees it.
Do you think that prerequisite that it's looking for is due to the fact they don't want you to kind of run it on like a virtual machine?
No,
they want it on bare metal.
No, because I've run these things in virtual machines before. That's not what's going on. These certain softwares literally just don't know what to do when they see that machine. That's all. That is it.
Okay.
Same thing, for example, right? If anybody is in here familiar with User Benchmark, it's a website. User Benchmark cannot recognize the GPU or CPU. If you can install it and run it, it runs, but it can't figure out what your CPU is. It's like unknown CPU, can't figure it out, doesn't know what to do. So it literally runs on the machine. Yes. We can tell what kind of processor this is.
Who am
It's
I
like
running
I'm
on
running,
right
but I
now?
don't know what I'm running. It doesn't even know what's happening. But once again, it's not asking for any prerequisites. It's just installing like it would on any regular x86 machine. And
Right.
yes,
Now, what
they do.
so with
They
the
give you.
go
I'm
ahead.
gonna tell you, they do give you the ability. If you have a piece of software that is running like having trouble running, Windows does actually give you access to change settings in emulation as well.
Oh,
By the way, you literally can right click on the app itself and go to properties. And when you get into properties, you hit the emulation tab, and it literally has settings that you can go in and change. So if you have a buggy software, you can change things. You can change like if it's running on how many cores it's running on, or you can change. You can literally go into safe mode in emulation, with emulation itself being in safe mode for certain softwares, and it saves those settings. So the next time you launch it, it knows to do safe mode for this one because it runs better in safe mode. Little stuff like that.
mm-hmm.
So
You want to hear
just
something funny?
yep.
So you know that it's saying here that Fortnite won't load because their anti-cheat software won't load.
Yeah, I haven't tried to do Fortnite,
But I
but
just found that funny because
I'll
they
try
try to put
Fortnite
Fortnite on
tonight.
everything.
Yeah, I'll try to do Fortnite tonight for you. See what it says.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if I thought anything would run, I figured Fortnite would run.
I would think Fortnite too. What is it? They said that software supported like Rainbow Six Siege appears to be playable. Notice how they say appears to be playable on the x86 series. But like I said, they could be using the lowest tier, and playable on that is probably very, very
Yes.
good playable on your version.
Depend. Like I said, no, but that's the thing though. So the only difference between mine and the lower tier is the
Right.
turbo. The only between mine and the highest tier is the highest tier has a better CPU. So that's where you come to. That's where you
Yeah,
come
you
to.
know what? As I've been looking at some more of these benchmarks, I did not know that the Apple M chip did not it throttles, but I didn't know it didn't never turn up like the clock speed. It just whatever the clock base is, that's what it runs at.
Well,
But
they're
then
running like
it'll
P core
throttle
and
it
E
once it
core.
hits it sees too much
But
heat.
see, what they're doing is a different approach. They're doing P core and E cores, so the core clocks don't change. You're just either on this set of cores or that set of cores.
Right.
That's the way they've done
Well,
it.
Qualcomm is doing like I guess what two high performance cores
No,
and then all
but
the efficiency cores.
no. They're all high performance cores. There is no low efficiency cores. There's none. All high performance
Oh,
cores in the machine. The only difference is when it goes into turbo, two of those cores turn up. That is it,
okay.
and that only apply. Yeah, so that's how they're doing. There is no P core E cores. It's all high. That's part of the reason why the multi core scores so good.
Because those two extra cores
And
it turns up.
yeah, and for my Mac people, the reason I'm gonna point out something to you again. Everybody was saying, "Oh, the M3 is keeping up, even though it's got two less cores." But what I want you guys to all look for is look at how many cores that M2 Max had, and it's faster than the M3. It
Right.
literally has more than double the cores in the M2 Max. So even
So
Apple
the core
outdid them.
count.
It didn't go up; it went down, but they stayed within like 10% of margin of error. So what that
Ooh.
means to me is that anybody who has should never buy an M3.
That's something that I think the more people need to start realizing. Even when they introduced the M4.
And I don't know if you've noticed too. If it goes all down to the phones, right? In the
Yeah.
Apple side, if you have a non Ultra 15, right?
Right.
You get the same CPU as the Ultra 14. So you got a newer phone with the same CPU from the old phone.
Right.
If you don't buy no, if you're not same thing with these M chips, they're just not calling it that. They basically moving what the performance of the Pro was down to the bottom, and then the new chip.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So the M3 is just as good as the highest M2s.
Right. So what is it? The ultra line is the beginning of the 3.
Basically.
So an M2 Ultra begins. It's a smidge better. It'll be like a smidge better, a little bit better.
Ultras are faster
and
than the 3. They're faster than the 3.
Right.
So yeah. But either way, with that said, I'm gonna say that I think this is a success. The main thing we're waiting on now is the software vendors. I'll repeat it. I've never used a laptop from Windows that runs this fast. I've used desktops that have gotten close, but it's not the same. It is just not.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm telling you, it literally. If you ever have an app in your, taskbar, and you click it to open it, like the app in your taskbar, this thing launches apps so fast that you will open and close the app before you can even open it.
Oh wow! So you say you'll end up double clicking?
If you double click it, it'll launch and close.
Dang.
It's that fast. It's that fast. There is no clicking and wait a second. It is just here. I'm here. What do you want?
I don't think that Windows is ready for this type of life right now.
No. And I don't recall a Mac being that fast.
I don't remember anybody saying anything like that.
Yeah, even the M chips don't launch apps. Can't do it. I think the M side is more limited by other things, other things in the software, the way it treats apps.
So that means you can honestly say that Windows did step up and improve Windows on the ARM side.
They obviously have done a lot of work. They've done a lot of work. I have to give it to them. They've done a lot of work. Because I wanted to talk myself out of the purchase, but the more I dug in, I was like, yeah, I gotta have
it. you kept going like, I don't see myself getting this. I don't see. Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah. But the next gen is going to be very interesting. I think that's where we're going to really see some wild stuff happen.
Yeah, but I think that the days of the super improvements are done now. I mean, like I said, I think that you moving from x86 over to ARM, you're going to see a noticeable performance. But if you're already on ARM and you want to the next generation,
the problem is you're just going to see the benchmarks get faster, but the usage is not going to be improved.
Right.
So basically what I'm getting at is that the biggest gains for ARM is in the graphics side right now. The graphics side is where we're going to have to see a bunch of growth.
So the CPU. So we're good at CPU now. It's the GPU on the processor is where we're going to have to start seeing more improvements.
Yeah, you want to. If you remember the Snapdragon 8 CX gen, whatever that's in the first ARM.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
These are 14,000% faster.
Whoa!
Just wanted to make sure everybody knows that. That is the gap. So if you own one of the ARM like Lenovo's with that 8CX chip in it, these are like 14 times faster, 14,000% faster.
Oh, that's just not fair.
I mean, so was the M chips when they came out.
But okay, but here's the thing: when they did the 8C, 8XC or CX versions, that was on a version of Windows that wasn't optimized for ARM.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Still.
Oh wow! So you're saying it don't matter
I'd be
at all?
willing to bet that if Microsoft pushes updates in those older ones, no, they still wouldn't be as fast as these. But even those they probably get a 15% jump. But they're not going to do.
No. They want you on the new. They want you on the new. They don't want you on the old.
But what we all might see, some even cheaper SKUs drop as well, probably next year.
I mean, You like I said, they should have did like the plus. They didn't do that. They just called
Yeah,
whatever the higher end was elite.
they did what they did was plus and then elite.
That's not fair, people. That is not fair. People gonna go in here and buy the wrong thing.
But here's the thing too: people who are not nerds, you're going to be perfectly fine with any of these chips, even the plus chip.
I believe that.
Yep.
So just now, did you do any web browsing or
Oh yes,
video
hours.
on battery?
Yes.
So what do you suspect the battery life to look like?
So I
Sir?
haven't actually been able to kill it.
What?
I don't use it enough. I don't use it enough to be able to kill it. The lowest I got the battery to get was about 30% from me just unplugging it and just using it for hours and hours. I unplugged the daggum thing at, I want to say I unplugged it at 9 something last night.
Uh-huh.
And even when and even by 1 something in the morning, which is, 10, 11, 12, like 4 hours later, and I was still at like 49%.
Mm.
And I'm running, and that's on high performance mode, by the way.
Oh, it
That's
was
not
running
a
at 5
balance.
performance.
Yes.
Wow.
So it's looking to me like you're gonna get a good 8 hours in high performance mode, 8 or 9 hours, maybe, depending on what you're doing in high performance mode. And roughly, if you're in like balance, you're probably gonna get like 16 hours. And power save, I'm guessing you're definitely gonna get like
You
22
can see
hours.
20 plus.
Like, oh, dude, I have it with me right now. I'm not in the bag. I have it with me right now in the bag, and it has still yet to have been plugged up since last night.
Dang.
And we're literally more than 24 hours later. And
And you're still
I've been using it throughout the day as well. I've been because it's new toys. I've been playing with it constantly. The battery right now is at 10:22 p.m. I'm at 21%, and the machine has never
that's
been
all
turned off.
that's all what 24 hours.
By the way, I want you to acknowledge I literally, when I said it's with me now, it was in the back closed. I grabbed it, pulled it out, and I opened it that fast, and bam, 21% battery.
Wow. Wow.
So
Dang.
we're over 24 hours now, and I haven't not had to charge it. And that includes me benchmarking it, all kinds of things randomly throughout the day and things like that.
Wow. That's pretty good.
So I'm going to tell you, my company laptop has died 3 times today because if I unplug it for a second to get out and do some work, and I have to carry it out of the vehicle, it's spending spurts of an hour here, 2 hours there off the thing. It's been plugged in ever since I came back to work. I left my house at about 8:45. This thing has been plugged in since 8:45, and I still only have 30. It's only 30% charge.
Wow.
And it's saying it's going to take another hour and 21 minutes to charge. 31% on this device in high performance, according to Windows. Let's see what it says. I want to get. You want to compare?
See, that's the question. That's the question I would like to know myself is how long does it take to charge up too?
Well, that's the thing. It goes back to the number one thing that we all loved about Apple, right?
Yeah.
You get so much. The battery life is so good. You don't care.
Yeah.
So if your battery life sucks, fast charging means the world, right?
Right.
But when your battery life's good, you kind of forget to care about how long it takes.
No, but I mean, here's the thing. Like, let's say that you need to put. Let's say that you are,
What I'm saying is this.
you're down to like 10%, 5%, and you just wanted to get a couple more percent before you had to get
to where
you're going.
Here's the moral of the story: 20% on one of these is 100% on any Windows laptop.
Wow.
And battery life. That is the point.
God.
My yoga with the Ryzen 5 maxes out at like 3 hours and something. And I know I don't run any. I don't. And I'm going to be pointing this out. I don't run anything in battery safe.
Oh, I don't do it either. I want raw performance.
I point that out to everybody in that. So I'm only getting 3.5 to 4 hours on that Ryzen, and even then, that's not solid number because it's so all over the place based on the activity taking place. So you don't care. I will try to do a charging check for you, but that's easier said than done.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: you all you got to do is charge for, like, let's say 5 or 10 minutes, and then whatever the number it goes from in 5 minutes, you could pretty much extrapolate.
But remember,
extrapolate how
if
what,
we
what
look
it
at
would
how the
be,
phones are, though, they'll charge really fast to a certain distance,
and then they slow down.
So you still can't use that.
That's true. That's true.
Now, I will say out of the box, it comes with a 65-watt brick. It's the Samsung.
Oh, that's gonna charge dumb fast.
And it's a tiny brick, by the way. It's tiny.
Oh, look, understand that on the cell phones, a 65-watt brick puts the phone in turbocharge mode. It don't charge regularly; it supercharges it.
Yeah.
Like I don't does when you plug it in, does it show the indicator? Like on the screen of my phone,
but
it shows like a green indicator. But when you plug it into a higher wattage one, the color changes.
Well, I haven't tried to plug it into anything low wattage. No, it's only been on one of the two 65-watt chargers I have. I have a Dell one, and I have the one that came with the Samsung. They're both 65 watts.
Like here's another one. It says Samsung Korea warns many apps won't run on its Qualcomm powered Copilot PCs. So what are they claiming? As most PCs are built on x86 machines built with ARM, raises the prospect of old software being orphaned. But yeah, you ran into the whole compatibility notice. It says it here. That's just like I'm curious to see what's going to end up happening, like compatibility issue wise.
I believe that a lot of these apps will successfully run an emulation. It's just the software writers, they don't need the code that will make it stop trying to do the prerequisites and just let it run.
That's true. Or Microsoft has to put a flag in Windows that identifies the chip as being x86.
But the way the system works is literally just the opposite. It already flags. It's just a different flag. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's already doing that. It's just that these individual software writers, they do their prerequisites differently than the others. That's all. Right. That's literally all. Company A just goes, hey, here's all the data. Do what you want with it. And company B goes, before I give you all this, what are you? And we need them to stop asking. If they stop asking, something tells me they'll run perfectly fine.
But there's a reason. I mean, I don't know necessarily know what the reason is, but there's got to be a reason for them wanting to ask.
I will point something else out too. The two softwares that would not install, they have one thing in common. So
what was that?
They have additional separate files associated with the install. What I mean by that is you have the exe, but then there's also a bunch of other like bin files that exe has to look in and pull data out of. So basically, you launch the exe, it looks back in the folder and goes, "Okay, I need you, and you." Both Appleton and Reasons both do that. The other softwares, it was just the exe file, no other additional bin files. That's the two things I've seen in common. For incompatibility.
So these were zip files, right?
Well, yeah, they're all zips for the most part. But what I'm saying is, they have what's called bins or binaries. They're like a library. So for example, when you install Reasons, it has a library of virtual instruments. Whenever you launch that installer, it looks for that library. So you have the install file, but you also have the library.
Right.
It can't install without the library.
I ran into a similar situation like that before. So on my PlayStation Pro, I upgraded my hard drive in my PlayStation Pro, and to put the new OS back on, I had to download the operating system from Sony and put it on a thumb drive, right?
Yep.
But the way that they told you had to do it was it could not be a separate folder. It had to be it had to be inside the folder, inside the folder.
It's basically the same situation. But on this one, like for example, reasons don't care where it's at as long as you can tell it where it's at.
Right.
But once again, that goes back to all software creators aren't following the same rules of how their software works. Software A may say it's got to be in the same folder. Software B may say it's got to be on the computer.
It's got to be somewhere for me to see it.
They're both x86, but they do the way they wrote their software is just different.
Yeah, hey, you said you had put on Pro Tools, right? So
yes.
So
it took me 4 tries, but and no, I'm not on the newest Pro Tools. It's on the old Pro Tools. I want to make sure I point that out.
Okay.
It's Pro Tools 9 that I installed on there, HD.
So let me ask you this question: performance-wise, what did it look like?
I can't tell the difference.
What?
I was able to actually run it. I can't tell the difference.
Are you?
It runs flawless.
The emulator is running it that good?
Yes.
Wow.
Microsoft did a good job with the emulator. Hey, I think Microsoft might have stole some of them Apple developers, maybe.
Wow.
We know that Qualcomm stole some Apple chip people. Maybe Microsoft stole some.
They're like,
because the emulator is
come over here for a while.
And one thing I will point out too, it seems like the computer loves older software. You think it'd be the opposite. It loves older software. The emulator prefers. You go back and find you an app from 92, it probably runs flawless. You find an app that just got a new update last week, it won't even launch.
Wow.
Yeah. So basically, you could tell that they went into the trenches.
Yeah. Which you know what?
The emulator
which means that Microsoft was thinking longer term with this.
Yeah.
They didn't go, hey, look, and this is something that I was talking to you about, like, their approach was going to dictate whether or not how long they end up doing support for a lot faster. And if it's running the old stuff like it's nothing,
flawless,
that means that they expect businesses to start migrating over too.
Yep.
I mean, for you to say it like that, that's the only reason why I would think it. You know, some of these companies are still running software from 10, 15 years ago.
The only software that won't work is like the brand new stuff. That's why I'm actually going to go back. So I'm going to show you Appleton wouldn't install. I'm going to try to find an old version of Appleton and install it. And something tells me it'll go direct, it'll go on no problem. Because you know what it is? I feel like too, some of these newer softwares actually require Windows 11, believe it or not. As much as some people hate it. Some of those packages and like what is it? Like the Microsoft, what do they call them? The service packs.
Yeah.
You know how you have service packs that come
if you didn't have the right service pack, the program wouldn't run.
Yeah. It feels like a lot of these newer softwares, like who've actually done recent updates, they require certain service packs that don't exist in Windows 11. And some of that, I believe some of that's going on as well. But that's, like I said, that's stuff that can be fixed. So we're going to see what happens, though. But I think the future is bright. The next thing I have not done, what I'm hoping to do tonight, I tried to install the drivers for my audio interface. It would not let me install the driver for my SSL, my solid state logic interface. But I want to point something out. You don't need drivers on Mac for the audio, for most audio interfaces. You don't even need them. Something tells me you don't need drivers for the interfaces on this machine. Yeah, I think that's
going to be able to plug in and it works.
It's just going to work even though you don't have drivers, which is what Mac OS does. If you're in the Windows environment, you use what's called an ASIO driver. In the Mac, it is Mac is called. Dang, that's a shame. I said it to myself 2 seconds ago and forgot what it's called again. Mac.
The old man syndrome.
God, what's it called on Mac? It's not called ASIO on Mac. It's called something else. But it's basically universal. It's plug and play. You don't need third-party software for their hardware to work. Mac calls it something different. It's like called direct audio or something. Either way, Mac is plug and play with basically every music interface out there without software being needed. On the Windows side, a lot of them work, but you miss features without the drivers.
Right.
So we're gonna see tonight. Like I said, as long as I can get back at a decent time, I'm gonna be Studio One since it works.
Okay.
The
Hey
only
man,
reason why
what's
I'm not gonna do it in Pro Tools is because Pro Tools requires I use my inbox, and I don't use my Avid inbox anymore.
What was that, Brandon?
what's up with them YouTube numbers, sir?
Oh, I was gonna get to that next, sir. I was about to get to that next. I know you jumped in here to want to rub it in my face. I was gonna get to it next, but no, ain't already. Do you have any other tidbits that some of these other YouTubers are shining lights on, or do you think you said everything?
I've said everything I need to say anyway. Uh-oh, we lose you?
Oh Lord, Brandon comes in trolling. Here comes the troller professional. What is that?
Already, what is that, sir?
That
Said
looks
rush
like
to electric vehicles may be excessive mistake, says Connor.
this looks like a Honda got into a car crash with a cyber truck.
I
It
agree.
looks like a wagon.
It's an Odyssey with a short nose.
Jesus, that thing is face only on under good luck.
It's an Odyssey. It's an old Odyssey. But yes, Brandon, I know that you ready. Here you go. Here you go. Brandon only shows up when he knows I'm about to talk about TV. So here you go, sir. What do you? What I want to hear what your opinion is. I want give me your opinion right now about the current state of television and cord cutting as it stands. So YouTube reportedly lost 150,000 subscribers in the first quarter of 2024 as major TV providers saw subscriber drop also.
Aha! Sounds like what I said here coming true. They hate that cable companies. Now YouTube, they hate you.
What's your opinion, sir?
Oh, he left.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
look at.
What's your opinion, Brandon?
I actually think that the reason why YouTube TV probably lost about 150,000 subscribers is because some of those people probably lost their $10 promotion. Because remember, T-Mobile were also giving it $10 off, and now they're not really giving it away the $10 off discount.
I
And
don't know if it's
secondly,
necessarily. I don't know if it's
and not
necessarily
only
a
that, but
$10 problem.
no, hold on. And then secondly, what was I gonna say? Secondly, the only thing that's active right now is literally only is baseball. But a lot of people
Right.
really don't on ESPN or occasionally on TBS.
Okay, so I think that the reason why there's a subscriber loss is because majority of the people got YouTube TV to get a better deal. I I think that something had to do something with it more of a
Well, I
deal
mean,
than it had to do
it's
with.
also it's also the better deal, but it's also at the same time it has a more modern guide and stuff like that.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, if YouTube didn't add in this whole like, hey, you got to have YouTube TV for X amount of months, X amount of years, X amount of whatever to get the deal, they said, hey, if you want NFL Sunday Ticket, you can get it for cheaper if you're on YouTube TV also, right? So
Mhm.
if you looked at how much it was on YouTube TV, then yeah, you would just like, hey, look, I'll just pick up YouTube TV for 3, 4, 5 months, and then once it's over, then I'll drop it. I'll just drop everything and wait and come back again. So YouTube TV is experiencing the Netflix effect with
Yeah,
with the Sunday ticket.
most people leave probably April and then come back in August, September.
Yeah, which it says in this, it says in this one, and it said in this article, and it also said it in, was it Business Insider? Also, they said that YouTube suspects that a lot of those people are going to end up coming back because of football.
But Edmund, also keep in mind that like 150,000 subscribers. I mean, it might be true, but also keep in mind it's not accurate numbers coming from Google directly. It's an investment or research or
Yeah,
whatever
they
company,
don't
and they might not. They don't have the exact same
they
numbers.
don't
So
like YouTube doesn't
obviously, the writer has to take it with a grain of salt.
YouTube doesn't necessarily know.
It
I mean,
never.
not YouTube, but people don't really necessarily know the exact number. What they can do is start looking at trends. So let's say that the credit card companies see people canceling. They don't see the subscriber notice multiple different times, and they might go, "Hey, look, a lot of people on our end." You could try to extrapolate that out to like, oh, it could be up to anywhere between 150 to 200,000 people have unsubscribed now, but it kind of falls into that, oh, it's the lull of the football season.
Right.
I mean, they do the same thing with Netflix. I mean, a lot of people would, let's say that you hear a good show is coming on, you're like, oh man, I want to see that. You'll binge watch it and then you cancel. You'll
Well, the
binge
thing about
watch whatever and
Netflix
you
now
cancel.
is that they're slowly killing. I mean, they're slowly killing the idea of where you basically watch the shows all at once because they're doing it either by episode or one part of the season, and then a few months later, the other part comes out.
Right. I mean, like YouTube is going to end up having to do something like to it, so they don't have these horrific loss numbers like this. And they're going to probably do something like, hey, look, if you're a YouTube TV subscriber that's been with us for X amount of months or X amount of years, whatever, then you get the deal. If not, just or like you can watch it independently. The deal goes to YouTube TV subscribers who've been with YouTube TV and stuck with it, right? That's how you get the deal. But they didn't do it that way in the
But
first
a
go
lot of
around.
the times, they're not gonna kiss a customer's ass. That's
You
why
don't have to. You look, you don't have to
no.
kiss somebody's butt. I'm just saying that this right here would automatically assume that YouTube TV is suffering like everybody else. If you read it as such, I mean,
But the
when I
reason
told
why
you,
they're suffering, Edmund, is because literally the same content is literally everywhere else. But at
yeah,
the same time, the reason why they're losing subscribers is because everything else has been seen, and a lot of the newer content is exclusively on demand.
that's true. And understand, YouTube TV is going to a more on-demand functionality
No, it's
also.
not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
As a person who has YouTube TV,
Okay,
yes, it
what's
is.
on demand?
Like I can go back and play like things a week ago. Like I watch
No,
news on YouTube TV, and I can
but
go
that's
back
not
and
the
look
same
at
thing.
particular people
That's
a
not
week
the same
That's
ago.
not
thing,
the same
Keon.
thing.
That's not what he's talking about. He's saying new
Then
shows where you got all the seasons ready.
oh, I mean you're gonna say it like
I can't
that.
watch Apple TV Plus originals. I can't watch Peacock originals. I can't watch Netflix originals on YouTube TV.
Yep.
Here's the thing. It comes back around to what does YouTube offer you on for YouTube TV
It's not YouTube,
that a
it's literally
Hulu
what the networks want to
that
put on their channels.
Yep.
yeah. Oh no, I understand that.
That's why on demand sucks. That's why on demand sucks, bro. If you even look at like for example, even the premiums, right? If you actually use on demand on the cable box and you go into HBO to find stuff to watch, like half the library is missing. But when you log
Yeah,
on to
because
the app,
it's
the
now
whole library is
Max.
there. Yeah, the whole library is Max. Now, Max is included in your subscription, but it defeats the purpose of having the cable box. Like it's just the old model is dead, bro, and it's going to continue to wither away until my children grow up and it won't exist.
But here's the thing: people still consuming content, though. I mean, look,
Yeah, they
elsewhere.
are, but they're going elsewhere.
People are watching more YouTube than they are live TV. Period.
so that's what I'm saying. Like a YouTube TV is already prepared for this. Like, I think that it's kind of like.
But they can't charge. But here's the thing: what we're getting at, Keon. How much is YouTube TV again? How much it costs?
33.
33 is the lowest package.
No. It's
73.
70 is the lowest package.
Who the crap is going to be paying 73 whenever live is dead? Nobody.
Oh, nobody is.
Oh,
no.
people that want to watch their Anderson Cooper at night and Hannity after.
But here's the thing: what's going to happen? So when Paramount Plus or ABC or Disney,
YouTube TV will go away and it'll be called a YouTube stream, and that is the end of the
story.
That's
what I'm saying. But
no more live TV.
But what I'm saying is
we're not even arguing about them having customers. We're talking about live TV services. That's why we keep saying YouTube TV, not YouTube streaming. TV
the radio.
is going to die.
I wanted to talk to you about this one because live television is still popular though. Like, okay,
why? You know why?
No. It is, but it's not. It's only popular for live events.
You know why though, right? Because remember, you got to look at demographics, Keon. You can't just go blind on it. Is there more old people or more young people?
It was more young.
No, there's more old. We have the lowest birth rate in the last 20 years, Keon. What are you talking about? Ain't no new people. We ain't replacing ourselves. So there's more old people living. What happens when they all die?
No, radio, you always talking about these old people dying. Always talk about these old people dying.
You're making it sound like all age demographics are just watching TV. It's a thing. No, you only see that large number because the majority of the population is old. We have the smallest young generation ever in this country right now. Whenever those older generation die, it ain't gonna be a slow decline. It's gonna be a cliff. It's gonna dive off a cliff. You give it 10 years. The old people are the majority. So if you look at if you got 100% of an audience, the old people make up like 75% of it. What happens when they're all gone? 75% of the audience disappears.
Yeah, I mean, then people now.
Hey, look, no radio is talking like it's going to be a specific meteor that's going to hit that gets rid of old folks. All of a sudden, they just like old people disappear. Bam.
There's nowhere near as many babies being born. So when you're looking at any of these demographics, the majority of the people in this country are over the age of freaking 50, dude.
No, I understand. The reason why I wanted to talk about this subject also was because of what happened.
Because there ain't enough young people to replace the old people with the Social Security money.
Well, look, what ended up happening middle of the week, so Juneteenth happened, and basically it was the funeral of Drake, and it was live streamed on Amazon Music. So a lot of people tuned into this.
But that's no different than a sporting event.
Right. So that's what I'm saying is
that doesn't count for Monday through Friday the rest of the year.
No, that's true. That's true.
The bread and butter is made Monday through Friday the rest of the year.
But that bread and butter is dying.
Exactly.
Look, people are not going to do what they did when they were watching Friends, where they wait until like Tuesday when Friends came on or Friday when Family Matters came on. They're not doing that no more because they got options.
They're going to do what most people do. They wait for the whole season to end,
and then binge watch it.
Watch all of it for $5 and disappear. And they cancel their fucking membership. That's what they're going to do. Every month so they can watch stuff sometimes, which is what I'm saying. The TV model is dead. We're down here in a pay-per-view world for 100% of our
not only that, but even then, like a lot of the younger generation doesn't really like sports anymore.
They sure don't.
That is true, but I think that has to do with the fact that and especially NFL, took so long to finally move. Like they cared more about the we getting all this money up front. Like even right now, so case in point, even
You
right now, Roger what's the commissioner of NFL, he's throwing all the TV people underneath the bus right now because they're like, yo, we put out an inferior product because we couldn't give you the Sunday ticket.
Well, that's the
Like,
thing.
or the NFL
You're saying
NFL
that
network.
young people don't like to watch sports because they couldn't get to it easily? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's bull crap. That ain't
No,
remotely true. It ain't remotely true. No, the young people, you know why the young people don't watch sports? You know why they don't watch sports?
Why?
Because they're watching Ninja play Fortnite, sir. They don't care a dang about no sports, period. They don't care what it's at.
I
no, but
disagree with you,
another
Radio.
thing is that sports is very, very expensive.
Yeah,
what I'm
people
saying
are broke right now.
Look, what I'm saying is that the easier you make something accessible, the more people grab onto it. Like I use anime as my prime example. There are more people that are anime fans today than they were 10 years ago, and all because the anime companies came together and finally went behind two factions. What is it? Funimation and Crunchyroll. And if Crunchyroll and Funimation basically have an app that you could access all these animes from, and these conventions are getting bigger.
You say that,
all because
right?
of it.
But we just said 2 minutes ago that the sports watching base has declined, and I would argue that even with its decline, there's more people watching sports than anime.
All right, look, I'm not gonna act like
let me go to
people
Walmart
don't
right now and go say, hey, you watch anime or sports? I guarantee I get more sports.
You're
anime
gonna get more sports, right?
Anime
but what
ain't
I'm saying
growing
is,
that fast, dog. It ain't growing that fast.
But it's growing at a pace because the access. People like understand for people to get access to anime, they had to do the sketchy stuff. Go to the sketchy website. They had to wait for stuff or go, import a lot of stuff from Japan if they really was that super diehard. Now you could just watch it on your phone. What I'm saying. Well, hold on, Brandon. But what I'm saying is because the NFL drug its feet for so long and wanted to keep the Sunday ticket on DirecTV, and then now they finally embrace the web, which, oh my God, you finally discovered the internet. All of a sudden, I bet you're starting to see a surge of people going back to football.
Well, you said back. We're talking about a generation that never was there.
But granted, it does take time. It takes time.
It goes back to the same thing I keep trying to tell you. You have a disconnect. You always talk about people going back to something. This new generation aren't going back to anything because they never were there in the first place. You can't regain a person that never was a fan. You either gain them or you never had them. This new generation of kids they're never. You know how they have the term never Trumpers?
Yeah.
There are never animators. There are never live TVers. The majority of young kids are never live TVers. Has nothing to do with access. These kids have more access than even we did, and they still don't want to watch live TV.
Edmund, people are not watching the Jersey Shore anymore, sir.
No, bro,
nobody,
I'm telling you, they're not.
No, because it's not that good.
Bro, the truth of the matter is, when I was a kid, do you realize how many more people can watch TV now and don't? Like I would bet that that the amount of people who have access to some type of cable or streaming service, right, or live TV, I would bet that the number of access is tenfold compared to what it was when I was a kid. Tenfold the access, but the viewership is going the other way. So access does not automatically mean viewership.
Access doesn't automatically mean viewership at the beginning, too.
That's my point, though. These kids were born with all the access, and they still choose not to use it. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But the reason why I say I disagree with you is because this is the first time that NFL has officially been accessible via the web. It was always some weird thing that you could do. You can watch the Super Bowl through through
but that involves
Verizon.
You're a sports person to begin with. You're telling me that the geeky kid in the band who doesn't play sports only doesn't play sports because of access. He doesn't watch sports because of access.
No.
So the anime kids that you hung out with didn't play sports. You gonna tell me y'all would have watched sports if you had better access?
Yes.
You gonna tell me? I don't believe it.
I
don't
believe it.
I don't believe it
Look,
because I
look,
grew up with a
look.
little brother who was a diehard anime fan, and that boy that boy wouldn't play Batman. Okay, the boy has no.
I'm gonna tell.
I wholeheartedly believe that when you give people better access, that people will start discovering it on their own.
But what I'm saying is that our culture in the country has changed. These young kids.
Go ahead, Brandon. I cut Brandon off. Go ahead, Brandon.
No, but Edmund, I think it isn't going to college anymore. Into the universities, therefore they're not really interested in the college sports anymore, which those players go into the major leagues.
Right, but I also
these schools are having to beg kids to try out. They have to beg these kids to try out for sports.
Right.
They have to beg them. When I was a kid, it was everything to get into sports.
Oh yeah.
You know what everything is now? Go home and play the video game. You ask the kid, who you want to be? You go, I want to be a YouTube game streamer. They don't want to be Michael Jordan anymore. And it has nothing to do with access. They have more access than we ever had, yet they're going the other direction. They have better access to sports today than even I did as a kid. The access has gone up, not down. And but the people levitating to it has gone down, not up.
I think that I hear where you're coming from.
The
only reason why
I see somebody get a touchdown, they go, "Oh, home run!" You don't even know.
Hey, look. The only reason why, the reason why I say that is because I look at the fact that the only reason why I even knew anything about anime it was because of Toonami, and Toonami was playing the Japanese anime stuff that was dubbed. You know, even though Toonami was like 10 years behind the anime in Japan, which they were already on something else by the time we even saw it here in America. But that was my access. That was my exposure.
What year was that?
I don't want to say what year it is because then it shows how old I am.
You said Toonami. What year did Toonami come out?
Oh God, Toonami came out in 90, 94, 95. I'm not
I don't
sure.
Remember that.
I just say Toonami was huge.
30 years ago?
Yeah, 30 years ago.
Yes. But what I'm saying is it because it was easy accessible, then you end up watching it. Same thing about look at just regular television. Everybody watched Power Rangers.
So what you're telling me is that you think access is the number one divide between somebody doing something or not?
Yes.
Okay then. So explain this to me. Why did K-pop fall off?
Why did K-pop
talked about from like 2012 to like 2020, and then K-pop died with COVID, and the access is higher than ever. And yet you had all these Korean people all of a sudden were stars on the whole planet, and now no one listens to K-pop anymore with all that access. Why didn't access save it?
No, really. You know what people are.
Why? It's called culture. Culture changes. Access does not dictate culture. Culture dictates access. Well, that means this: whatever the culture wants, the culture gets. When the culture wanted live TV, the culture got live TV. They didn't only get live TV because it was available. They got it because they wanted it in the first place. No one built a cable line to you if you didn't want cable. So what starts happening when you don't want cable? Well, guess what? No one's going to spend money to give it to you.
Right.
So that goes back to, does the access drive the market, or does the market drive the access? I would argue the market drive the access. Just look at the fiber expansion going on in the country right now.
Right.
Did the fiber being built first make people want it? No. People wanted the fiber, so it got built. So what I'm telling you is when people want sports, they're going to get sports. They're not going to take sports simply because they have access. Some people are going to have access and still don't want it.
That's perfectly understood.
I got access to Arby's every day. Nobody
But
goes
you
to
don't want
Arby's.
Arby's. You don't want Arby's
Nobody
every day
goes
though.
there. So simply having access doesn't make something popular. Is all I'm saying. It's more to
No,
it.
no. But I also look at the easier you make it where people can get access to it. Like
But
like
that
I
only
said, the
applies
NFL
to people who
wasn't easy to
already
get.
want it. What I'm saying is, so if I start making football easier access to the little nerdy kid with glasses who never even turns to that station to see it. He never even turns there because he goes to watch Ninja play Fortnite, and then he goes, and then he might flick through channels because he couldn't find nothing in the streaming app. You're gonna tell me that this little kid who has no family who plays sports, they don't play sports, he's gonna stumble across football, and now he's gonna be a fan of it. I don't
Eventually,
think so.
yes.
I think that
Eventually,
stuff like sports is handed down to you. I don't
it
believe
is. And I was
people
getting ready. I was gonna
it's
get ready to say
culture.
that also.
If your dad's a big sports guy, you're probably going to be a big
You're gonna
sports
turn
guy.
around and be a big sports person.
I don't think simply having access does that.
But I also look at case in point. So like when the New England Patriots were winning, right? You had people with people who never been New England, never been north of New York, never been anywhere close to Massachusetts. All of a sudden became New England fans walking around with Tom Brady jerseys. They became fair weather fans overnight, right?
I think them people come from places like North Carolina where we didn't have professional teams until '95.
That's true.
See,
why
do you think all the Dallas? Why do you think North Carolina is full of Dallas and Redskins fans? Because we didn't have a team. So once again, we didn't have a team to represent. So the majority of people here don't even represent the local team. And a lot of regions.
A lot of old people like the Cowboys.
Yeah, because back in the day, there were maybe 10, 15 teams, no matter what 50 states you lived in.
My wife is a Cowboy fan, and I'm drawn in the middle of like a civil war, man. I have to choose my wife versus my family members.
I have a family that used to be Cowboys fans, and as soon as the Panthers came out, there's nothing better.
Hey,
but
look what happened when you finally get a team. See?
But hey, these schools, look here, sports are so dead. The schools are having to cancel programs that they can't get enough kids to even try out.
Yeah. I just think that
changed. Their families don't care about sports, so they don't.
I think that yes, you are right to a certain extent, but you also have to take into effect that the NFL, we're going to just use football, for example, you got to also look at the fact that the NFL wasn't fully accessible, and they still hide behind like old arbitrary stupid rules that like blackout dates.
I'll give you this. I'll give you that is 50.
Well, say it again.
Access is 50. The access is 15%. It ain't 100.
True.
No, but Edmund, I don't know if you saw earlier going back to sports.
Austin said, "Why you got to bring up the Cowgirls?"
I got a first picture of the stadium on my phone because my buddy drove by earlier down there in Texas. Brandy. Apparently, they had something going on today at the stadium too. By the way.
No, but what I was gonna say?
Justin says my stream is cutting out.
It was no radio for a little bit. No, but Edmund, I don't know if you heard about this a week ago, but Bally Sports, which is basically owned by Sinclair Diamond and all that, they're going bankrupt. And what literally hammered it down was because Comcast decided to get rid of the Bally channels, and because nobody's watching regional sports anymore.
Nobody's watching it. No one cares.
Right. And understand, and I agree when it comes to that part. I totally agree with you, and I think that what happened is take Bally's for example. They try to spread themselves across an old model, but when the model starts changing, you have to adapt with the new model. Well, they still want
the new model
to stay the same exact way.
Well,
and you can't live in it. You can't live. Oh, you look. If the land gives you, cucumbers, you better learn how to eat cucumbers. You can't say, "Well, I only eat olives, so guess what? It better give me olives." and then all of a sudden you start starving. Like that's pretty much what's happening.
Oh, no,
Comcast is living in a world where people are leaving them because of television. Why would a Comcast go and reinvest money into a dying medium?
Go ahead, Brandon.
No, but Edmund, the reason why they got rid of it is because they looked at the ratings and they're like, why are we gonna keep this on our platform when people aren't watching it and it's causing us too much money?
Look, Brandon, look,
Hey,
here's
Keon, I got one for you. Do you know what made sports big in America in the first place?
what made sports big?
The Durangos.
Back in the day, before the streaming world, TV had you hostage.
That's true.
You had to watch whatever they played. You had to. So guess what? They didn't care about ratings because there was nowhere else for you to go.
Go at right.
If it's Monday Night Football, you're watching football. It don't matter. That's how it. I remember being a kid and the same game was on all the locals except one. You had to watch it. You were forced into it. Now that you have alternatives, they can't force you anymore. So the older generation came from a world where they were forced into things, and we all know people don't really change that much. That older generation is keeping sports alive.
All right, hold on 1 second. So Austin and Justin said that my stream is constantly cutting out. It's showing on my end it's stable. So it could be a YouTube problem tonight. My internet connection is good. Everything else is showing pretty good.
Is everybody cutting out, or is it just me cutting? No, because I was in the bad spot.
No. It's saying my stream overall is cutting.
Oh, okay.
Even through StreamYard, it's not showing anything like anything going on.
But back to what we were saying, the same thing happened with wrestling. When I was a kid, it's Monday Night Raw.
Right. So you were stuck watching Monday Night Raw.
There was nothing else on because if you didn't have cable or satellite, you were on an antenna, there wasn't nothing on for kids at freaking 8, 9 o'clock. So everybody became wrestling fans. So it wasn't about you getting access. It was about you being forced into it. Same thing with the news channels, right? Back in the day, America was a lot less fragmented as a people in the way we think because we were all forced to watch the same 5 news channels. We didn't have third party. We didn't have YouTubers that did alternative news. So it goes back to we have so many options now that we don't care about what you want to be big. So these companies like the NFL, they have to find ways to make kids interested in sports again. It ain't just access. These kids do have access. They just don't care because they have access to a bunch of other things. I thought about that earlier today, right? I realized how much more productive of a person I was before the internet was so easily accessible. Like if I had to do a course or something, there was no distraction. There was no, I'll pop on YouTube and end up in a wormhole of shorts for about 3 hours. You couldn't do that in the year 2000.
No, you couldn't.
You know what I'm saying? So
and because you could, you focus directly on which. Hey, look, I totally get that because, like, understand that the more access you got to more things, the more distracted you became.
Exactly. So if there's a live football game on right now, right, and I'm a 12-year-old kid whose parents are not into sports, and I happen to come across it. If it's 1999 and I come across it, well, guess what? There's no YouTube to go look at. So I'm gonna just sit here and watch this football game. And if I do it long enough, I'm gonna start learning how the game works, players' names, coaches' names, the cities where all the things are. I'm going to Staples and I'm buying all the NBA pencils with all the different teams. I remember that stuff as a kid, right? That doesn't exist anymore because every single kid can turn to a football game and then look at their iPad. Next thing you know, 3 hours goes by and they've been flicking the iPad. They ain't even watching the game.
That's true.
We have too many distractions to become diehard fans of singularity things.
Hey, look, you can go to a football game today and be at the game and still not watch the game. So they added so much. They added, look, you got millimeter waves sitting right next to your butt cheek, giving you 300 gigs down, so you could you could take a bunch of Instagram photos.
and I'll admit to you this, Keon. I don't know if you watch any sports at all. I don't watch
I
pretty
pay
much. I don't watch anything but boxing and MMA. But you know what's funny to me?
what's that?
These YouTubers who have like channels where they like go out and play like flag football with little
Yeah.
kids in training camp. Those are more entertaining than the NFL. Even joking. It's way more entertaining because they junk talk. It's like WWE for
No,
football.
hey,
It's amazing. It's way better. I'd rather watch that than the
do
NFL.
you know? Hey, look, when what was it? The women's basketball. The reason why women's basketball started getting like looking better was because they were starting to read the lips of the women basketball players, and they were getting evil.
Our girl,
they were showing 0 Fs.
It's old girl from Louisiana. She got it hyped. And guess what? There's more people watching her on YouTube than they are watching them games. Just watching her do shorts on YouTube, which goes back to my point. He don't even care about the game.
So Justin says, how about back in the day, you couldn't watch the game out of the house because you weren't connected to the Comcast home.
Exactly.
So, like I said, it's so many little different things, and I think that
you're being forced back then.
Right. Yeah, so I think that right now, because everybody's attention is dragged all over the place.
Yes.
The old way of doing stuff is it's been disrupted completely, right?
It's done for.
Completely disrupted. But I think that now you have to have a more compelling product for somebody to actually follow.
Exactly. So the product being good is more important than access.
Right. And that's
my argument, though. I think everybody does have access.
Well, I think that you know what? I think that especially when it comes down to like access, right? The access had to come to destroy the old model, but then the quality.
The access has been here for 15. The access has been here 15 years.
Well, we're talking about more now. I mean, like, look at Bally's.
Remember, we just said that access is only 15%. Product is the other 75% if the product sucks. So people get access to it and it's still boring. Man, I was waiting for access. Now I'm bored already.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Look, I got access to Disney Plus. I was bored in a day. Because unless you're a diehard Disney fan, you're going to be bored in a day. That's what I'm saying. They're the same thing.
I mean, hey, look, I love Star Wars, but hey, look, even I have trouble trying to keep up with it because I got so many other things that pull my attention. Like, if it was just Disney Plus, then I could watch Disney Plus right now. But then I got Disney Plus, I got Crunchyroll. Look, I got Disney Plus, I got Crunchyroll, I got, Hulu, I got, all these, I got Netflix. And look, people make suggestions, hey, you should watch this, you should watch that. And it sound like I'm pretty good. But then I have to find the time to be able to not be moving to finally sit down and look at it.
And I'll point
Evan, do you like Hello Kitty, sir?
Do I like Hello Kitty?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Y'all are some bastards. Fudge y'all. Fudge both of you.
If we look at one-hit wonders, do we have more one-hit wonders in the music industry or less one-hit wonders today?
Oh, we got more, way more.
Why?
Because people's attention span is very short.
Because we got options. It's the same.
You know what?
It's the same problem. It's the exact same problem.
Yeah, hey, look, I was because of the whole Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef is a bigger conversation sprouted up, right? Because you got so many options to who you can listen to. Now you got Drake and Taylor Swift being in the juggernauts of the industry because they're just rechurning their old stuff to recapture a younger audience.
Do you know what you just said?
What?
You just quoted Kendrick. There's too many options. I'm about to tag this. Like for sports, There's too many
Hey,
options
that's
out there
true.
for sports to ever be as big as they were in the
I'm gonna
past.
pass on this channel like John Stockton.
Yes, sir. Hey, that's why I say me, I jump around on YouTubers, bro. I jump around a lot, right? There are
But here's the
YouTubers
thing.
that I watched 4 years ago that you're just now starting watching 2 years ago.
Well, hey, understand? Your suggestion to certain people is
Yeah.
what the reason why I end up picking up on like
But
Curtis
you know,
King.
I move faster than you though. Like I
Yeah,
move
you
on
do.
faster. You like, for
Look,
example,
look.
I stopped watching Rich Rebuilds like 3 years ago. You still
I
watching?
haven't. I
Well,
still
you know
watch
why?
it.
Because you come from a generation, even though you're only about 5 or 6 years older than me, you come from a generation where things move slower. So as we get lower and lower in the age, it's faster and faster and faster and faster. How quickly people don't care about somebody. My little girl switches what she likes
Oof.
literally by the week. By the week.
But you know what? But here's the thing, especially as a content creator, you got to figure out a way to hold people's attention. Which means that if they're switching that fast, if a person is switching that quickly, do you know how hard it is going to be for you to make content?
But it goes back
That's going to be
this, though.
damn near hard.
Only the strong survive. But remember, I told you there was a producer in the 1960s. He said one day everybody's going to be famous, and the day that everybody's famous, nobody's famous. It's coming true. The days of these big like YouTubers like Mr. Beast, eventually there's going to be no more Mr. Beast people. There's going to be nobody who has 10-year YouTube careers. It's going to see the same thing you saw happen in music. That people are going to be big for shorter and shorter amounts of time because everybody and their mama wants to be a creator. The amount of creators is growing 100-fold every day. And at some point, every single person in the world is going to be creating on YouTube. And the day that happens, there will be no big YouTubers.
Right.
That
because
is the
you
problem.
know what? But you know what?
Access kills the market. See?
See
how that works?
Yeah, I kind of get it, but also, but here's the thing. Like, also, you Justin Tech even just said it. It's like, yo, when his I guess his father once he lost access to be able to watch football like the way he wanted to, he migrated away from it.
But here's the point, though. He's part of the older generation. They don't apply to the younger generation because they were never watchers. That's what I'm saying. I've been saying that the whole time. People who are already fans clearly still want it, right? It's the people who were never fans that you can't get. See, that's what I'm getting at. His father does not apply to the conversation because of his age.
I mean, one thing
his father was a sports fan probably from childhood. His father didn't stumble across sports at age 25 and now he's a diehard sports fan. Didn't happen.
Oh, Brandon was getting ready to say something. What's up, Brandon?
No, but Edmund, one of the things that you have to consider, sir, is people don't watch TV like they used to. They're glued to their phone because they're on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube because the content is fresh, it's cheap to make, and there's ads that are literally custom to their liking.
Yeah,
which is totally
they watching
understandable.
live is porn. They only watching live OnlyFans girls. That's the only thing they watching live. Otherwise, they're binge watching Netflix, Disney Plus, or something like that.
I'll talk about that subject in a few minutes, but yo, look, my whole sentence has been this, right? Is there's always evolution in everything, right? You know, my television watching was different than my parents' television watching, and my parents' television watching was drastically different to their parents, right? You know, they had my parents had radio only. Then all of a sudden, you know, I'm old enough to have had a black and white TV. You see what I'm saying?
Sir, you watch I Love Lucy?
I did as a kid. I did.
I did
because my babysitter had every I Love Lucy VHS tape. Every episode. And when I say, and if you remember VH fill up half, she could fill up half a bedroom with videotapes. So I Love Lucy.
Oh my God, already. You took me back.
Yeah, real talk. That's real talk.
But that's also, but what I'm saying is I think that since we're now in the land of plentiful, it comes down to who has the most compelling product, right? To hold people's attention, because obviously we know that everybody's attention can be yanked from somewhere. Like for me, I like the fact that you put me on to watching Curtis King, right?
Yep.
I watched his an hour and
When he's
24 minutes. I
live.
guess he did a live stream and he cut it. I guess he edited it down so it can be from the live stream. I watched that whole thing.
And the product's good already,
Right.
and they go back to it.
Right. But then like there's some people that I watch and be like, oh, I don't get through 5 seconds of it because I'm like, I don't see
Product's not good.
I'm not gonna gain any good information from that.
Yeah, that's
So
because
it
the
comes back
product's
around
not
to
good.
quality.
Yeah. The
We
NFL,
have
no
quantity,
quality.
but now it's quality.
I challenge you this, for the person who doesn't watch sports, I'm gonna give you a sports channel on YouTube, and I want you to watch it for 5 minutes, and I guarantee you
Oh,
will say
I
it's more
believe it.
entertaining than NFL. Hell, look at what's his name, Chisel Adonis. You gonna watch him on Sports Center?
Oh, I watched it. I watched him.
That's my freaking
Oh no,
point.
no. I
That's
I
my
sat
point.
down. Do you remember? Well, you probably don't know, but it was a kicker. It was a black dude. I forget his name, but he was a kicker in the NFL or tried to be in the NFL. Then he ended up spinning off and doing his own YouTube stuff.
Yes, I
And
watch
what
his
he
channel.
did, and what
His
he
channel
did
is
was
amazing.
I sit there and watch like multiple versions of his videos because he's putting like DBs against like wide receivers, and they're
Yes,
going
that's what.
they're going balls to the wall, bro. And I'm saying
Are
like,
you
yo,
ready?
this is way.
That's who I was going to send you, sir. That's exactly who
Oh,
I was going to send you. My point has been proven. It's way more entertaining than
it is entertaining.
There you go.
But you know what? But the thing is like the NFL, like I said, it's going to come back around to, it's going to come back around to utilizing technology to give you a better product. Like remember we were talking about like being able to finally put like let's say a microcomputer into the helmet and giving you the quarterback vision
It ain't gonna
that
be the
everybody
same.
wants to see.
It ain't gonna be the
I
same.
don't know,
You know
man.
why?
I think
because they can't. You're gonna tell you why? Because they can't talk all the junk. The junk talk is half the fun of that channel you're talking about.
No.
And-
They look. Instead of having one person mic'd up, they have the whole team mic'd up.
Yes, but they're going to be censoring what they can say, and people are going to be mad all the time. That's the problem. They get mad now if you kneel on your knee. What you think will happen when you say some crazy stuff on the microphone? That's what I'm talking about. That's why live sucks, right? Because live TV has to follow all these rules. Once we leave that ecosystem, we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Oh, look,
we do what we want to.
Syndicated television is dead. Like, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the old people are going to be like, I don't think that was sportsmanlike. And the rest of us are going to be like, we're enjoying this. Shut up. Let us talk junk. And therein lies the problem.
But look, here's the thing. Like, take Kendrick's concert. That was live, but that played on Amazon Music. You had to have an Amazon account to watch it. And any curse word that popped up, anything that popped up, it popped up. Boom. Right? And people would not have taken it any other way because if it was like bleeping out stuff, I think people would have turned it off. People want the raw whatever. They don't want the manicured version anymore because there's no fun. Because now the commercials, people in commercials are afraid that you're going to say something that's going to offend some segment that they're putting a commercial
and that's
behind.
The thing. That's the reason why the model of like this big broadcast can't happen with the NFL. That's why it can't happen. The advertisers are not going to be happy with letting the players say whatever they want to say. So basically what makes the advertisers happy is what's going to make the audience come. These two people have conflicting interests. See the problem?
That's true. Yeah.
So when you lose the advertisers, what do you got to do with the audience? You got to charge them more.
Which I understand that. I'm just saying that, hey, look, you know what? Where you end up having the raw feed is going to be like NFL Sunday Ticket or the NFL Network. But if you want to be like, oh, well, I can only afford the free 99 model, then you're going to get you don't get the option to hear what's going on in the field. You don't get all the options of, who's doing what, who's, hitting somebody with the hit stick on the field. You don't get the extra access. And I think that's where you end up differentiating your services is, okay, you got the regular football for the cheap people, but the people who are willing to pay the dollars for, I want to know what, I want to hear my man
I,
bone break. You know what I mean?
I bet you $1 million is never going to
Ooh.
happen. And if it does happen, they're gonna let censorship go. They're not going to do it, bro. They're not
Mm.
going to do it. For
Look, if
Christ's
they
sake,
want to
you got
survive, they're
people in
gonna have to
Florida
let it
burning
go.
books. They're burning books in Florida, but you think that they about to freaking let the NFL players just talk all kind of junk? Good luck with that. And we know Florida's a football state, so football fans are the same people who burn books. now they're gonna let the defensive line be talking about, yeah, bitch, I'm gonna kill you, destroy you. You ain't got nothing on me, boy. No, they're gonna be like, he's so unprofessional. And then us young, we're gonna be like, go ahead and die already, old person, so we can get our sports good. Because everybody and their mama knows that all in sports, there's always people talking junk in sports.
Oh yeah,
But the NFL tries to project this good boy image that they want to fake
but
for
that's
the
what I'm
public.
saying. Like, understand the resurgence of women basketball did not come because all of a sudden people realized that women basketball was, interesting to watch. It was because of trash talking. That black woman turned it in the camera was like, "You don't know who the F I am." And they were like, "Ooh."
But that's
son.
my point. That's what I'm saying, though. The old people running the league are never going to compromise. We got to wait for them to die first, bro.
Mm.
That's funny. Every industry, we got to wait for people to die for it to get better.
I told you it's not going to be a special made meteor fall out of the sky to get rid of those people, man. It's a slow death. Yeah, it's a slow death.
And what's bad is they don't even see it. They're so old and so stubborn that they don't even see that their products are dying as they're not evolving.
Because they get all the money, they get their money up front. That's why. Look, like I said, the NFL is finally moved because they lost so many people people not watching that they had to finally realize, like, oh, we do have to go to the internet. I guess DirecTV is not doing what it's supposed to have done. Like they had to realize it. They were like, "Yo, the football fans are not coming back like they're supposed to."
Well, they were getting an inflated number of people because people didn't even want it. We're getting it included for free for 2 years and 1 year.
Right. And those are not real numbers. And those are not true real numbers.
So that's
if you have, let's say that you got this steady group of people, it's the same thing about subscribers versus views. Country Wayne has more views than he has subscribers.
Yes.
But another person will have more subscribers than they have views.
But the difference is people with lower. The way a channel has actual viewers is the views, not by how many subs. I'm sub to a bunch of channels I don't watch. So when I hear people say like,
right,
how in the hell how you get 10 million views, but you only got 500,000? Well, it's because somebody like Country Wayne is posting 10 videos a day, so one user is watching 10. That's why. Yep. But see, that goes back. He's giving you quantity and quality, and he's doing it consistently every day. So no, the numbers are not fake. He's just doing a different model. He's not doing this whole thing where I put out one 9-minute video every day and wonder how the channel who has less subs than me gets more views.
Right.
They're putting up more content. Very simple.
Nah, it's one of, like I said, it's the quality versus quantity problem, and you're gonna have right now. You got so much to choose from that you're torn. Which, like I said, you're starting to see that even streaming services are dwindling down because one single person cannot have 40 different streaming services. It's not possible. And look, you see that Paramount Plus. I didn't even think Paramount Plus was that bad, but they're losing out and then being shopped around to like Skydance Studios.
Mm-hmm.
Disney Plus. I didn't know that Disney Plus was having the issues they were having, but apparently they are. And guess what? Now they had to hurry up and buy Hulu because they're having server issues. They don't have anywhere to put their content at. So it became it became a physical place. Like streaming existed and being in reality costs a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's what it was. Is it was nice, cable companies that y'all had cable companies had places you could actually put stuff at. What was it? The Netflix would put a server next to your box and go, all right, cool.
Yeah, they put a
we're
server
here.
in the local interconnect.
See, and that's somewhere physical. But let's see. On the last story, if he's still out there, sir, I'm sorry, but this is happening now. Here you go.
What you sorry about, Cletus?
Ashay, he showed us this, and it's going the way of the dodo bird now.
Oh, what are you talking about?
So YouTube is getting rid of people who signed up for premium through VPN accesses. So I'm a YouTube premium user. I pay the full price. I have the family plan, of course. Me and my wife, and what is it? I got my baby sister and my brother on it. So we all watching YouTube without commercials. But for those that don't know, in different countries, there's different prices. In the country you're in, well, YouTube is going hasta luego, and basically they are changing your billing information based on where you live. They knew the whole time you lived there. They just didn't enforce it. Go back to the thing that the radio said before. What they're doing when you run out of subscriber growth, it's time to start getting the ones that's been getting it for free.
Yep.
And that's pretty much what YouTube is doing. They're going after the people who are circumventing the process. I didn't realize it was that cheap though. Come on, I mean,
yep.
I'm paying $30.
Yep.
For first of all, what do you get for $1.54? You obviously are getting a different version of YouTube Premium. What is it? It's premium for only a moment.
It's just it's the same thing happens with prescriptions. Prescriptions in America cost more than everywhere. That advantage of it.
What is it? Was it UK? The Ukrainian IP address, and you sign up. It's like $2.30 a month. And then what is it? Places like Canada, which you never would have thought Canada being the bully on the block, but Canada is implementing a protectionary service, saying they want more money from people because of local content. So I'm I don't know the whole ins and outs of it, but basically Canada is going ham with content also. So they're like, yo, give us, you're gonna have to pay us more money. So everybody wants 10 pounds of flesh out of you.
Daggone right. Hey,
look, if I'm paying, you pay too.
Don't you worry. I say, hey, I got your money.
Oh man, so you know what? What's ironic about this is that Google / Alphabet is killing their VPN service that they were offering to crack down on people that uses VPN.
Well, nobody was using the VPN service either.
That's true.
Why would you use their VPN service when there's free ones?
Oh, and look, and speaking of VPN services, I had to wait until the end of the show when we got past the 11. What time is it? We're into the 11 o'clock hour. We're into the 11 o'clock hour. I don't think any kids are
All right, it is time for VET Uncut.
It's technology uncut at 11 o'clock, bruh. So here we go. And go. So speaking of VPN, Pornhub to leave 5 more states over age verification laws.
Yep.
So,
and it doesn't matter because they're just going to use a VPN to watch anyway.
That's what I'm saying. The problem with Google's VPN is you couldn't choose where you wanted to be, which I think that's one of the reasons why nobody really cared for it. The whole idea is if I want to be in Jamaica, and these other VPNs, even the free ones, kind of give you a choice of where you want your data to pop out at.
Yep.
But even Pornhub is being scattered to the winds. Some new states have decided to shut down in Idaho, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, with Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi, Montana, North Carolina, Utah, and Virginia doing similar legislation.
Yep.
But apparently these people don't know anything about VPNs.
Well, it goes back to old people trying to run something and don't know what they're doing.
I mean, you might want to go ahead and just operate your.
Another problem, the reason why this law is dumb is the companies that are based outside the U.S. don't have to follow these rules, so you can still access it in all of those states you just named. That's why this is still so dumb.
They don't even have.
God, I swear, why
have to do a splash page? They're like, yo, we don't care.
Yeah, they're not a U.S. company. They don't have to follow U.S. stuff. So if they're based in Switzerland, they don't have to go, oh, that's Virginia. They don't give a dang about none of that. It's none of their business. Their site still works. So these states are not blocking these sites at the state level. They're literally just making them pop and want you to, actually take a picture of yourself or some crap with an ID.
What they want to do is they want Pornhub and places like that, which, like I said, are you really going to give your license?
Yeah, you give me your license. So you got to take a picture of yourself.
Right, you're going to do all this to get to basically the throwaway site that you peruse from time to time.
Exactly.
Ain't nobody doing that.
Nope. You're just gonna click the VPN button on the bottom corner of your screen, get your VPN app, and you're gonna keep it pushing.
Do you know how desolate strip clubs would be if you had to every single time you walked in, you had to sign a list and be verified before you walked in? They'll be like, I don't want to go here. They know who I am.
Yep.
But that's crazy, though. I understand that everything revolves around protecting minors, okay? But I feel like some people just don't realize, like, yo, the internet is the internet.
Do you know what these laws are for? These laws are not to protect. They're not to protect minors.
Of course,
these laws are to make dumb voters. These laws are to make dumb voters think that their government's actually doing something that they want done. And I hate to say it, but a lot of not just liberals. A lot of conservatives are dumb too.
Oh man, no, it is. Hey, look, you are equal opportunity offender.
Yeah,
you go give me the smoke.
Conservatives talk about how dumb the liberals are, but they're dumb too with laws like this. This doesn't do anything. This is another evening of a law makes you feel good, but changes nothing.
That's true.
I get so tired of feeling good, but nothing changes.
If anything, what it does is it educates somebody on how to get around it.
Yeah,
they're gonna go. Are you having trouble with? Because if you listen to all the YouTubers, that you start to hear way more VPN services being advertised. Hey, look, I don't hear many Ray-Bans being advertised anymore, but them VPN services, those things are going is going all gangbusters.
Yep.
But it's one of those weird things that I'm like, do you not know? Like you don't, when you post something on the internet, it stays on the internet forever. It's not. Oh, I deleted it there, so I guess nobody will ever see it. Like that's you know, Twitter is not going to get rid of your post that you actually did. They might take it down for you from seeing it, but it still exists. It's been archived. But you know, for those who don't know what VPNs are, go find them. If you prefer to get your content from other places. Another reason for people to kind of, you know, circumvent some of these stupid laws that that different states have started implementing. You know, it says here Pornhub traffic in those states dropped 80%.
Yeah, because people just use the ones that are out of the country. They're not being blocked.
Right. I'm gonna look at the European one. But no radio.
No. It's not like that. It's not like that. Well, the European one you need a VPN for. I'm saying that there are sites that are just not blocked. Period. There is no. Yeah. You don't need a VPN or nothing. You just go. It just works.
The server exists in another country.
Yep.
I don't have to check nothing. You came to me.
Yeah.
But no radio. Thank you for stopping by, sir.
Anytime. Bro.
I know you said you wasn't feeling well. I hope everything's good.
It's all gravy.
Oh, let's see. Thank y'all for stopping by. Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. For more antics. If you want to have a hand in the news, also join the memberships. That way you can, you know, vote up, vote down what you might like. You can add in what you want to talk about also in the through the memberships. It links directly to the Discord, which I will be happy to start moving a lot of my stuff over. In the beginning, I showed y'all that I do it through Google Chat, but I'm waiting for me to get members before I move all my operations over. So I don't have any members yet. Looking forward to try to get some. So if you want to influence the news and what we talk about, or even have a chance to come up and speak your mind, the door is open for y'all to kind of end up wanting to do that. The pricing is for the different memberships are in my bio for YouTube. And, you know, if that's what you choose to want to do, I would be grateful for it. No radio, anything else you want to stop and say real quick?
No, sir.
Okay. Apparently he's taking a vacation from your grandmama's drawers.
It's her sock drawer.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Yo, I'm still in my sock drawer. And your mama and your girl's sock drawer. 3 generations of pimping.
3 generations, sir. 3 whole generations. Man. Hey, thank y'all for watching.